Right, time now for Media Watch with Charlie James. Good evening, Charlie.
Okay.
Now, there was a verdict handed down today for a case in Spain that's been credited with sparking the country's Me Too movement or moment, and reaction has been huge online.
That's right. So there's outrage in Spain right now over a case involving 4 or 5 men who called themselves the Wolf Pack, and they gang raped a woman during the country's running of the Bulls event in Pamplona during the festivities there. They were sentenced today. The actual attack happened a couple of years ago, but they were sentenced today, and there were immediately huge protests in the streets because the men were charged, instead of being charged with rape, they were charged with just sexual assault. And the reasoning for this by the judge was that video of the attack, because they had taken video of it as well. They said that the woman wasn't appearing to fight back, and that way it's not considered violent. So the woman says that she was just trying not to get killed during the attack. Women in Spain have been completely outraged. There were
lots
protests
of men too, I assume, as well.
Yes, the reaction online earlier today, the top 5 worldwide trends all were hashtags involving this case, and people sharing. Going online to not only share messages of support. This translates to "Sister, we believe you," which is also one of the hashtags that's been being used, but also to share protests that are happening this evening across Spain. This one in Madrid, another in Barcelona, and also just going online to really air their anger. One user saying, "It's not abuse, it's rape," is the rallying cry for women protesting. The La Manda, that's Spanish for wolf pack, the pack, which is what the men called themselves. So it's not abuse, it's rape, has been kind of the rallying cry chants at these protests. Another woman saying, "Women in the world, do not come to Spain. This is a country where it is free to rape, where the consent does not exist, where silence means yes." A lot of women going on to say not refusing is not a yes, and talking about consent. So those protests are happening as we speak across Spain. And this is being compared to kind of Spain's U2 movement, women in particular standing up and saying, we're not going to accept this anymore, especially this kind of judicial sort of lessening of this attack, terrible attack on this woman.
What a shocking story. Well, we're going to the US now, where President Trump gave his first interview in months to Fox News this morning, and a couple of things he said could make his legal woes even harder.
That's right. So he's done impromptu answering questions or press conferences, but this is the first time he's actually given an interview.
A sit-down, proper interview.
Well, he called in, but yes, a proper interview on TV. So he called into Fox and Friends, which is widely considered to be his favorite morning program. But a couple of things he said are getting him in a little bit of legal hot water. The first is that he tried to downplay his relationship with Michael Cohen, his personal lawyer, whose offices were raided by the FBI earlier this month, saying that he only did a little bit, a tiny fraction of his legal work. The problem with this is that right now, Trump's lawyers are trying to use his attorney-client privilege with Cohen to keep a lot of his communications with Cohen from being made public. But if he downplays them like this, it's going to make them harder to have a case that they need to have access to those files. The second issue that Trump ran into is that he, for the first time, acknowledged that he had anything to do with the Stormy Daniels case, which is the adult film actress who claims that she had an affair with President Trump before he was president years ago. But for the first time, he admitted that his lawyer was representing him before he had said that he knew nothing about this case. So, and that Cohen was acting on his own. So Stormy Daniels' lawyer went immediately to Twitter and said, "Thank you, Fox and Friends, for having Mr. Trump on the program to discuss Michael Cohen and our case. Very informative." So probably not the last we've heard about that.
Oh, no, indeed. Charlie, thank you very much for that. Charlie James there with Media Watch. Right.